This video is brought to you by lactose-free milk. If this didn't exist, I'd probably be dead. Alright, so, in my last video I talked a little about the third thing that I hate the most. This time I'm going to talk about something I hate even more. Heat. Now, of the many things that make me go from 0 to 100, the exposure to anything warm weather related has always made me reach the peak of annoyance. You'd think after 17 years of living in the South, you'd get used to the weather, but every year that summer rolls around, my heart is filled with regret of taking for granted those few short months of nice, cool weather. Get it? Ice. So summer weather doesn't start and end when it should here. So it turns out like this. There would be about 1.5 months of fall, followed by 1.5 months of winter. Then about 2 to 3 weeks of spring, then the rest of the time is just hot. To be fair, from my experience between a dry heat and humidity, I find dry heat to be a bit more tolerable. But every time I go to step out and feel the blast of hot air hit my face, really puts me in an ass of a mood. There was one time in middle school when they decided to have the entire class sit crisscrossed, packed together in an uninsulated room right in the beginning of August. Now, that school year was the only year that I didn't attend a public school. So they were lacking some necessities like toilet paper and working AC units. I'm not afraid to admit that looking back, I wasn't my best during those times. Back to the story. We were all sitting on the floor going through orientation because apparently they didn't have chairs either. And I remember the room being unbearably warm and stuffy. So I know now that those kids were sheltered most of their lives and probably never seen a person sweat before. So of course they felt the need to point out to everyone just how hot I was. Like I said before, when I'm hot, I'm not in the best state of mind. So when I was put on the spot, I may have said some things that let everyone know what I pretty much thought of them up until that point. So I hate it when it's hot outside. But I don't like letting that be a reason for me not doing the things I want to do. Not too long ago, I felt like going on a run. But where I live, it's best to do it during the day if you catch my drift. So this particular day, the temperature at the time was 107 degrees. Now personally, once the temperature reaches about 95 degrees, it feels the same as if it were 115. Because of this, I didn't think it would be too bad for me to run during the somewhat mini heat wave. So I just put on my shoes and took off. Now when I run, I don't like to carry things with me. Not too smart, I know. So that also means I don't take any water. I know how long I can go without needing it, but I've always went on runs during the winter. I got about a mile before I realized my mistake. I never took into account how dry the air would be. Seeing where I was, I instantly became desperate for water. As I was walking back, it looked like I was staring at the ocean. It was so hot. So lesson learned, keep cutting during the winter. You might think, if I hate the heat so much, does that mean I love the cold? Absolutely. I love drinks that are cold, freezing cold showers. One time our boiler broke and for a whole week I was the only one who showered. I can only sleep soundly when it's cold. Yes, I like my food to be warm, but for everything else, cold is everything. Speaking of everything, I'm currently living in a garage. And a garage in the summer can be suffocating. Also the cockroaches, but they don't show up too often. So we set up 2 walls and had my own vent made for my room to have access to some air conditioning. Unfortunately, that doesn't seem to be enough sometimes, especially at night. I mentioned in my last video that I sleep with multiple fans, but some nights the temperature will make the garage brutal, which in a way will cook my room. So there would just be a bunch of hot air being blown around everywhere. Before anyone says anything, yes, the walls are insulated, I did it myself, but you can't do much about a garage during the summer. I was told I was born in the cold.
Molded by it.
By the time I grew up, it was too late. I'm driven by it. At least I get to feel it once a year. Alright. To whoever that still has a ways to go until it actually feels like fall, be careful out there. You should always carry water with you. I do that now.